Hello everyone, my name is Rahul. In the previous video, we had discussed about phylum Ctenophora. In this video, we are going to discuss about phylum Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes are also known as flatworms. Why are they known as flatworms? Because their body is dorso-ventrally flattened. Dorso-ventrally flattened. That is, it is flat from the front and back from both the front and back. So platyhelminths have a dorso-ventrally flattened body. This we can understand by the example. If you take a ball of clay and press it between the palms of your two hands, it will be flattened. So such is the shape of platyhelminths. Talking about their general characteristics, there are three germ layers. So platyhelminths are triploblastic animals. They have a bilateral symmetry. That is, body can be divided into two equal halves by only one plane. They are acoelomate. There is no coelom. There is organ level of body organization. Organ level of body organization. And body plan is blind sac body plan. Blind sac body plan, which means that there is only a single opening which acts as both mouth and anus. Talking about their habitat, platyhelminths are mostly endoparasites in humans and other animals. What do we mean by a parasite? A parasite is an organism that derives its nutrition from another organism, which is known as a host. So these are mostly found as endoparasites, which means that they are present inside the body and they acquire their nutrition from a host. Digestive tract is incomplete, that is, there is only a one opening which acts as both mouth and anus. Respiratory system, skeletal system, and circulatory system are absent. Why are these systems absent? Because they are endoparasites. They do not need these systems because skeletal system is used for movement. Since endoparasites do not have to move, they do not require a skeletal system. Respiratory system and circulatory system are not required because they can derive their oxygen from the host. Sensory system is also absent because they are present inside the body attached to our intestine or stomach wall, so they do not need a sensory system because there are no harmful or other organisms present there which can affect these animals. Talking about segmentation, these animals show pseudo segmentation. Pseudo segmentation, as we have already discussed, it means that the segments of the body are not of the same age. Some segments are earlier formed and some segments are formed later on. Nervous system in these organisms is ladder-like with a ring ganglia and two nerve cords So the nervous system appears something like this. There are ganglia and two cords. Now ganglia means it is a collection of neurons. A collection of neurons is referred to as ganglia. Talking about reproduction, these organisms are mostly hermaphrodites. Being hermaphrodites, fertilization is mostly internal. Fertilization is mostly internal and development is indirect. That is, there are many larval stages which do not represent adults. For excretion and osmoregulation, a special type of cells called as flame cells, also called as solenocytes, also called as protonephridia, are present. For excretion and osmoregulation, a special type of cells known as flame cells or solenocytes or protonephridia are present. If you see an organism in which there is a presence of protonephridia, we can certainly say that this organism belongs to phylum Platyhelminthes. Mode of excretion. Mode of excretion is mostly a monotelic. Mode of excretion is mostly a monotelic, that is, they excrete out ammonia gas dissolved in water. They excrete out ammonia gas dissolved in water, which is known as a monotelic mode of excretion. Now, based on their mode of life, phylum Platyhelminths can be divided into three classes. First class is known as Turbellaria. Second class is known as Trematoda, and third class is known as Cestoda. Turbellaria. The organisms belonging to class Turbellaria are free-living aquatic organisms, free-living aquatic animals, and they have good regeneration abilities. Good regeneration ability. Examples of Turbellaria include Dugetia, Planaria. Planaria can also reproduce asexually by fragmentation. Apart from having good regeneration capability, it can also reproduce by fragmentation. In class Trematoda, these are mostly ecto or endoparasites, that is, they are not free living. They can be found inside the body or outside the body, and they are mostly worms or flukes. They are known as worms or flukes. In Trematoda, we have examples such as Paragomnius, which is also called as lung fluke because it causes infection in the lung. We have schistostoma. Schistostoma is also known as blood fluke. We have fasciola. Fasciola is also known as liver fluke. And there is Ophisthoarchis, which is known as oriental lung fluke. In class Cystoda, these are mostly endoparasites. These are mostly endoparasites in alimentary canal. Endoparasites in alimentary canal. In Cystoda, we have Hymenopsis nana, which is known as dwarf tapeworm. Echinococcus, which is also known as dog tapeworm or hydrated worm. Hydrated disease is a commonly encountered surgical illness in our country. Then there is tinea. Tinea, we have two varieties. Tinea solium, which is also known as pork tapeworm, which spreads due to the consumption of improperly cooked pork. And there is Tinea saginata, called as beef tapeworm, which spreads due to consumption of improperly cooked beef. Now, in platyhelminths, the segments are known as proglottids. Segments are known as proglottids. These proglottids can be found in the feces of an human being who is affected with the tapeworm. These proglottids can be found in feces. So, this proglottid is commonly used to diagnose infection with tapeworm. Proglottids, because it is found in feces, it is commonly used to detect the presence of tapeworm infection in humans. Tapeworm infection usually leads to tapeworm infection usually leads to vitamin B12 deficiency. Tapeworm infection usually leads to vitamin B12 deficiency. An important characteristic of phylum Platyhelminths is that in parasitic forms, that is, organisms which live inside the body, they have hooks and suckers. In parasitic forms, hooks and suckers are present, which are basically used to adhere to the surface of the intestine or stomach, whichever structure the organism is affecting. So hooks and suckers are present which help in adhesion to the wall of intestine. Hooks and suckers help in adhesion to the wall of intestine to acquire nutrition. If we can see the structure marked as sucker on a magnified view, of this sucker, it will appear something it will appear something like this.